Woo! Right, well, let's see if this does any better. I should have said on my other stream that failed to actually join me on Streamlabs. That would have been the most sensible thing to do. Let's see, I've got somebody on. Who have I got on? Hopefully you can see me and hear me. Really, Margaret, this was just... Oh, there you are, Margaret. I was going to say, really, this was just for you because I wasn't able to speak to you and I don't know if anybody else was on. So what I've done, Margaret, is I was trying Prism and basically to see the features, and unfortunately... Oh, hello, Michael. And unfortunately, you couldn't see me or hear me, which was really not the point of a live stream. Hello, Kathy. Hello, Cheryl. So basically, Margaret was telling me that she couldn't see me and she couldn't hear me. So, hello, Susan. Hello, Michelle. Well, seeing as I'm here and you're here, does anybody want me to wander around these woods and see some bluebells? Well, it was a trial, Margaret, and it worked quite well in some respects. But the fact that you couldn't actually hear or see me was kind of a bit of a flaw. Hello, Ronnie. Oh, the thing is, guys, I mean, this may not seem like a steep hill. Hello, Barry, but I'm not the fittest lady in the world. And I'm holding a gimbal. So that will be toning my upper thighs, my glutes. So we are somewhere I have never been before. We're in what is called Cuckoo Woods. Sorry, I'm tripping over all over the place, so it's not particularly a stable picture. Which is in Penenden Heath. Now, Penenden Heath is quite famous in the sense that it used to be where all the executions in Maidstone were carried out. However, they then terminated those executions and they moved them to Maidstone Prison, and some of you will have been on a tour when I was speaking about some of the executions at Maidstone Prison. What I was telling you on the tour that nobody could hear or see me is that there are bluebells which are protected. Hi Sarah, hi Susan. Thanks, Susan. You can always send me a message on Messenger if you would like to get hold of me. Now I've distracted myself. And there was a child, age undetermined, on and I was expecting people to advise me what the name of this was, and I know Mike will be able to tell me. One of those things with big wheels that goes around that teenagers in England use to be annoying. And they were driving over the bluebells. Sorry, he was driving over the bluebells. Then he returned with his mother, who said, "Did you take a photo of us?" And I said, "No," because that would be particularly weird. And I said, "You do know that you're not meant to do that, Michael. You are not being currently very helpful. It is not a penny farthing." And she said yes, and continued to destroy the bluebells, which is so excessively annoying. Oh, what's this? Now, it is actually quite noisy from my end, which sounds ruder than I would like it to be, but because we are very close to the motorway here, which is, of course, my beloved M20 that was closed last night, meaning that I had to go on a detour. And now look at this chap, see? Don't say I don't spoil you. And they spoil you even more by falling flat on my face when we get down there, but you know, what guide doesn't go above and beyond for their folks? I've already had to walk in a terribly muddy puddle just to get out of the car. Oh, if my mother could see me now. Can you hear the water? I know it'll be a little bit muffled. Oh, I say, let's not fall in there either. Heaven knows how I'm going to get you back up. Isn't that fabulous? I'm a Pisces, and I don't know if it's because I'm a Pisces, but I do love looking at running water, and by that I don't actually mean the tap. Can I go into the tunnel for you? Michael, do you know what? I think you need to travel from Leicester just to come down, to go into a little tunnel and meet the little bears on the other side. So in other words, that's a big fat no, Michael. I am not going into the tunnel for you. What I will do, turn the camera around so you can see that beautiful view. Currently quite lucky because I'll pay for my body cast. That sounds like, will you cast it in bronze, Ronnie? The weather in Kent has been absolutely atrocious. It's either been rainy or windy, or the skies have been so overcast. So it's really lovely to be here in this green. Now, shall I take you back to see more bluebells? Do you know, actually, you're not wrong. The water does look very clean. I'm still not going in it for you. And what we've got here is, it's actually a weed. If we had Sue on, she'd probably know the name of it, but aren't they pretty? Unfortunately, I have to pull these up. They tend to grow in my garden. And then, of course, they take over. And it looks like we have some creeping buttercup as well, which have absolutely destroyed my back lawn. So I have a big apple tree in my back garden, which means that I have lots of moss. I have endless amounts of creeping buttercup, and I'm not entirely sure there's any grass anymore. That's the end of the tunnel, Michael. So it was only a very little tunnel, and this obviously is somewhere where we won't be going, but nice public right of way with a little arrow. Always very helpful, these arrows, so you know which way to go, unless of course you'd already come from that direction, and in which case those arrows would be completely pointless. So let's go and have a look at some more bluebells, shall we? Shall we turn right or left? Seeing as I've never been to these woods before, it's all a bit of a discovery for me too. I just saw a post on Facebook where somebody posted, I thought that was you being funny, Michael. Is it actually called Herb Robert, or have you just named a weed, or indeed a wildflower? I mean, one person's weed is another person's wildflower, isn't it? Hi, Nikki! I'm sorry I did that in a sheep-like way. There's no reflection on your woolly-like personality or your woolly-like hairdo. Looks like brambles as well. Don't put your hands in the flowers. I have no intention of putting my hands in the flowers. Although, I was going to say that. You see, I funnily enough, I lie, because what I wanted to do actually is show you this, which is basically sticks to everything. I don't know if you have this abroad. Obviously, I know there's probably a few of you from the UK. This is a cat magnet. So what they do is sticks to them like this, and then they come in and they bring it in the house. Or what they do is, obviously, they just deposit it all around the garden. So I have lots and lots of sticky things that all of the cats can then enjoy themselves with. There is a Herb Robert, which of course Emma Braisby would be delighted by, because that means there's a Herb Bob. See, Ronnie, great minds, great minds. Still trying to think of the blasted name of that vehicle. It's not a go-kart. I'm sure Mike knows and he's teasing me. Now, you can see here just individual bluebells. Still definitely not a unicycle, 4 wheels. Quad bike. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, somebody, for bringing sanity to my tour. A quad bike, that's exactly what it was. So as you can see the singles, and then you'll see little clumps. And some of the views that you get when you stand back, it's just like it's a wash of, well, I would say lilac-y purple, even though they're called bluebells. I was going to do lots of reading on bluebells, but unfortunately, as you know, the first set of woods I got to had absolutely not a sausage of a signal. So how is everybody today? It's a little bit breezy here, but nothing too dramatic. I'm driving to Marlow tomorrow for a family get-together, and I was hoping to possibly show you Marlow, but sadly it's scheduled for rain, so that's going to be a no. But what I will do is check the signal while I'm there, and if it is a good signal, at least I know if I go back next time I would be able to put on a tour. Oh yes, Tony, here I am. I wouldn't say the bushes, I would more say the woods. Cuckoo Woods. And you can see fabulous fallen trees, giving quite a dramatic view. Nikki, at what point would that phrase come up in your everyday life, do you think? I suppose if you had somebody was phoning you, you could text them and say that I haven't got a sausage of a signal. Now this is actually where I believe I first started streaming, and nobody could hear me or see me, so it was utterly pointless. Now, what do we think? Rotted, chewed on, or chopped? I would suggest it was possibly chopped because it was going across the path. But to give you an idea of the so that's the bottom, and hold on. Well, that's as far as that's going to go up. I'm going to launch it over my head and see how far we can go without me falling backwards. The technical term is they are very, very tall. Let us put us back to normal. If a tree falls over in the woods and nobody hears it, does it make a sound? Same as the bear in the woods, but you know, slightly more applicable for this. Sarah, you've had your power off. Oh, that's frustrating. Where do you live, Sarah? Not necessarily down to the postcode, but which town, city, country? It may be very profound, Susan. Unfortunately, I've already forgotten what I said. Oh, Southfields. Oh, well, not far. So why on earth have they turned off the power for you? That's just rubbish. And here we have a mossy mound. I think there are lots and lots of different types of moss. And from my expert opinion, I would say that this one is a damp one. I love seeing all the sort of holes, and you wonder what creatures have gone in and lived there. Indeed, maybe none at all. I know. I thank you. Thank you. You are indeed with the moss expert here. I'm afraid in this climate I won't be able to show you any dry moss. Shall we have a wander? See what's down here? There's a lot of forest around here, which is fascinating, as I didn't even know it existed. Oh, now that's interesting. Look at that trunk. That certainly looks like it's got magical fairies living in that one. Now this, let me put my foot so I don't crush any bluebells. This I am completely not a fan. So this is holly, and it may get some pretty berries on it, but it is incredibly painful. And my next door neighbour had a holly bush that was growing next to my fence, and it was very high, so it used to drop off all the holly leaves, and I would need to pick them up and inevitably would stab myself on them. So then I got some thorn-proof gloves But I also wasn't happy at the thought of my little kitties hurting themselves. And interesting that you're saying it's toxic to cats, Nikki. The trouble is, what they did is they actually chopped it down, because the fence, they did some work, so they chopped it down, but it's actually, they thought they'd got it out by the root, but it has regrown, I think, to annoy me. Oh, I say, what's coming up here? Of course, the problem is, it's all very well me saying, shall we go here, and you saying yes. How on earth will I find my car? Dilemmas for another time. And some kids shouting, which is always joyful. Thing is, these fallen trees actually provide great habitats and encourage biodiversity. Well, I could walk back the way I came if I remembered what way that was. Now, unfortunately, I appear to have come to an area full of kids, so I'm going to turn back, because they're either going to try and get on film and say things that they shouldn't, or I'm going to have to avoid filming them. Either way, logistically, slightly frustrating. Well, you're a fun guy, aren't you, Mike? Would you like that log? I actually have a well, that's interesting. Cheryl said to take bread, so I thought she just meant for a snack. But Ronnie, you mean breadcrumbs, so you know, both works for me. Snack, finding my way back, and it would be a lot of bread. I know, right, Nikki? Children, they pop up everywhere. A sycamore just passed me. I didn't see it walk past. Shall we go backwards so Mike can share the benefit? Is this the one? Or is it the one behind this one? This one? It's a very, very half leaf. And this one is a very, very big leaf. I'll tell you what. What's this one? Because I think I've got one of these growing in my back garden, and I thought I won't cut it down. I'd like to know what it is. Hello, Wendy, David, Daisy. Well, it's all gone the way of the Leone, really, I suppose. Oh, and Tish is in behind Wendy, holding up the rear, as it were. I was doing a test of Prism, and it all worked well from the way that I was able to test all the different functions. Unfortunately, nobody could hear me or see me, so I've obviously got to do something else. And I think this is the well-known issue that I may have stumbled across, that I knew at the time I installed Prism, in the fact that you have to do something and say mobile streaming software, but I didn't. So for those of you who've just joined us, we're in Cuckoo Woods, which is in Penenden Heath, and we're just walking around looking at bluebells and anything else random that we like the look of. Just a bit of a, goodness gracious me, what time did I start this? 24 minutes. 24 minutes I've been walking around looking at interesting things. And we're just enjoying the fresh air. Well, that would actually probably only be me unless you open the window. the greenery and the bluebells. Just a little bit of a Saturday afternoon jaunt. Although I have just trodden in mud, so that's a little bit annoying, but never mind. Won't be the first time, won't be the last. Now, I think this may have been where I came in, and if it is, then I might... Oh, can you see the squirrel? Probably not. Oh, there's a squirrel running around like the speed of light. Daisy would be very happy to see that squirrel. But I think Mr. Squirrel is... now gone into hiding. And unfortunately, you will see that some of the bluebells have indeed been trampled on. But they are fabulous. Let's see if I can get you to see inside that little bluebell there. Oh, it could be by the children, could be by the dogs, could it be by a hippopotamus? Probably unlikely to be a hippopotamus, to be fair, but you never can tell. Because they are right at the edge of the walkway as well, I think anyone unsuspecting could have walked on them. I'm quite into this this kind of dragon scream at the end of that trunk. Or indeed, if you look at this one, not the whole one, not the one with the hole. Let me see if I can get you a better vantage point. Well, that doesn't. Looks like a screaming tree, that one does. There's two eyes at the top. I suspect, yeah, very angry. It's very angry. A lot of fallen wood here. So I'm not sure what the management plan is. And we can see over there somebody's conservatory just on the... have to bear with me, my shoulder isn't particularly happy. So I am holding the gimbal. And then more of a clump. So of course there are British bluebells and Spanish bluebells. They are very, very pretty. They are, I interrupted myself, I suspect really on their way out now. As we are indeed in late April. So if we're here in a month's time, I imagine we would just be looking at lots of green. I just saw a little birdie, I think. Little birdie over there. Well, I dare say it's like the squirrels. grey squirrels are taking over from the red squirrels. The Spanish bluebells. Got an armada against the British bluebells. And oh, now this is interesting, because you can see this is a very big tree that's fallen over. Probably went on the source a bit too much. And you can see right into the roots where they've all been torn off. Well, I wonder if you want to make your Spanish bluebells grow better, you have to talk to them in Spanish. Oh, and this is definitely on the full, because if you have a look at the floor, you can see lots of yellow petals. But this, that's a lovely splash of colour, isn't it? You can see, obviously, when those have gone, looks like little... Oh, there's a bee. Is it a bee? Looks like a bee to me. There you are. You eat up, Mr. Bee. Don't sting me. Now, when I went to down the road which directed me to Cuckoo Wood, it was actually a private road with some very large houses and no parking. So I'm parked on the main road. There's a little bit of a lay-by, and unfortunately at the end of the lay-by there is indeed a massive puddle. And I have to walk through that massive puddle to get onto the road or to get back to my car, which is fun. Fortunately, I had the foresight to actually bring my boots, which have suffered on tours before. And I just want to quickly show you this, which I found really interesting. That they've obviously had some building work, in the fact that there's a bit of a fence missing, but can you see that on all the stuff they've dug out, the bluebells are growing through. Now, I'm sure I read that it takes about 6 to 7 years for bluebells to grow. So either that spoil has been there a long, long time, or the internet lied to me. So I'll give you another 10 minutes of rambling around bluebells, so we'll go back the way we came. Just for added drama, it feels like my trousers are falling down, so it's a bit of fun. And the reason for that is that I put new jeans on today and I forgot to put on a belt. Not because I have lost any weight. So well done me. Foresight to wear the proper boots, not the foresight to put a belt on. Should we try this way, as we didn't go this way on the way? Way. Well, yes, I was trying to think of the meatloaf. 2 out of 3 ain't bad, but I did have the foresight to pack my gimbal and my mic, so you know, there's lots of things that I did. The random fence in the middle of the wood is actually a fence that goes onto the back of people's gardens. So those nice big houses, I suspect. I imagine that due to their location, they are worth a pretty penny. They're rather large, but you have got the constant hum of the motorway in the background, which you would get used to. My father lives in Hampshire and he has the hum of the A3 at his house. Fortunately, I don't think they will completely fall down. It's not just the most comfortable walking experience. Oh, interesting. I say interesting because I can hear rain. It is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Just being able to walk round here, and there's another one of those yellow plants that we saw through there. Well, Nikki, I was saying the same, that I would call them lilac-y purple. So these are quite pale, probably because they're on the turn. You can see they've gone a bit crispy at the ends. But these are far more, I would suggest, of a purpley. But it may well be that they tried to call them purple bells and it was just too much of a mouthful. Ah, that's right, Mike. Yes, they were named before the colour purple had actually been invented. The rainbow didn't include the purple at the time. Oh, I can hear a train as well, so that's interesting. That must be going to Maidstone East. Oops! I've managed to, I don't know what I've done. I've managed to hook myself. And I'm not entirely sure how I managed to do this, but I have. Right, splendid. Don't worry, nobody's holding on to me. It's just the trees not wishing me to go. And we can see some ferns now through here as well. There they are. Got some of those in my back garden. Oh, actually, acres of ferns now I look. Haven't got my glasses on, so you can probably see better than me. Wendy's got pink and white bluebells in your garden. How exciting! Sound like sweeties. Well, the forest may keep me, Tish, because I may not be able to find my way out. So I'm keeping an eye on the time, so you've got 5 minutes, mainly because it is raining now. And as a virtual tour guide always says, it doesn't matter that we get wet, but it does matter if the tech gets wet. I hope it's coming across as nicely on screen as my view, which may sound a bit nonsensical. Oh, good, Cheryl, thank you. It's an interesting leaf. And then, look, you just get a little grassy section with bluebells, which is beautiful. I was saying to you earlier that I was fed up with the wind and the rain, and now it started raining again, which is marvellous. It's quite a large wood, this. I'm never sure when I'm walking in woods how stable the picture is, because obviously it's very uneven ground, so I'm not sure how much the gimbal manages to pick up the inevitable bounce. Oops! That was an inevitable trip. Then they just carry on. Ah, my little gimbal. He's been dropped a few times, bless him, by accident, obviously. Wow, look at this. That's much denser. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? You can just see it going on. How fabulous. Now obviously I appreciate the time has meant that very few of you have been able to join me. Do you think I should put it up as a premiere on Sunday evening so we can watch it together on a watch party? What do you think? Although obviously if you've watched it already you probably wouldn't want to watch it again. But Cheryl says yes. Trees are spectacular. Kathy says yes. Margaret says yes. Tish says sure. Because Tish is Tisharoo. Oh, this is a fabulous area. It is, isn't it, Sarah? Look at this. I think, oh, hello, puppy. How are you? Oh. Just had a little friend there. Wow, it's not a terrible day, is it? When you're walking along in the woods surrounded by bluebells. Show the puppy. Well, I didn't want to show the puppy because there was a chappie with the puppy. There was actually two dogs. It wasn't actually a puppy. I mean, I've no idea what it was. As I said, I haven't got my glasses on. But it was definitely a dog. That I can tell you. When I had the earlier event with the lady and the quad bike. There you are. Well done, me. And the quad bike, she stopped to speak to a man with a goodness gracious me, not a Doberman, a Rottweiler, which can be quite scary. But of course, you know me. Came up to me, gave me a good sniff, and I bent down and stroked it. Savaged my hand off. No, it didn't. Came back and sniffed me again later. I think it quite liked me. There are definitely a crescendo of bluebells round here. Right then, you little scamps. I ought to switch the tour off, my dears. Then you can see more just green here. So I'm going to turn the camera around to me. I've no idea what you're going to see, as I hadn't prepared for this really. Well, what I want to do, Nikki, is I would like to go back up here to take a photo for my tour, for the preview, although there might be one on there already, but I would like to take a photo, and I can't do that while I'm live streaming. My car, I know I will find. Why don't we come to a compromise, and I will post in my group to say I haven't been savaged by bears. I don't believe there are any bears in Penenden Heath, to be fair. What I'll do is next year, I'll do it earlier in the season, you'll have to remind me, and be interesting to see them when they're all fresh and new. I have no issues with enchanted spirits in the forest. I think we would get on very well. So I'll take you for one last look at this lovely, lovely patch of bluebells. Thank you everybody for joining. I'll set up a premiere for Sunday when I get back home. I have to do the excitement of Sainsbury's shopping. Hopefully see you again. So take care all, and I'm going to wave bye-bye. Bye bye.